Think that you stop eating for a whole day. At first, you just feel a bit hungry, but then something strange starts to happen. Your body begins switching to survival mode. Your cells clean themselves, your hormones shift, and your brain starts working differently. So the big question is, what really happens to your body when you fast? In this videocast, we'll explore the science behind fasting, how your body transforms from the inside out when you stop eating for hours or even days. First of all, hit the subscribe button and follow me.
Today, we're jumping into something really fundamental for metabolic health.
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, you asked us to dig into the actual physiology of the 168 method.
Right.
Look under the hood, see what's really happening at the cellular level. That whole shift from like sugar fuel to fat and ketones.
Exactly. And why understanding that is, well, pretty key for your goals, especially weight management, maybe in the context of PCOS too.
So our mission today is really to trace that process. Fasting isn't some kind of magic trick, right? It's biology.
It absolutely is. And one way to think about it, which some of our sources suggest, is like your body's this complex house. You've got your metabolism, that's the furnace. And then you have a pantry full of easy-to-reach fuel, that's your glycogen.
Okay.
Fasting is basically deliberately telling the house, okay, no more deliveries for a bit. You force it to switch gears, use the stored stuff, and maybe even do some internal housekeeping.
Got it. So we're tracking the steps that lead up to that metabolic switch everyone talks about. Let's start at the beginning, the easy part. The fed phase. Right after you've eaten.
Yep. You eat, food breaks down, and your main fuel source is glucose sugar. Your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is kind of the signal caller here.
Hey, food's here. Signal.
Pretty much. It tells the cells, open up, take in the sugar, use what you need right away, and the extra, that goes into storage.
Into the pantry you mentioned.
Right.
That's the glycogen, mostly liver and muscles.
Precisely. Glycogen stores fill up first. If there's still energy left over after that, then it gets stored longer term as fat. So this fed phase, high insulin, it's all about building and storing.
Okay. But obviously, we don't stay fed forever. We move into the early fasting phase. This is what, maybe 3 to 12 hours after meal?
That's about right. And this is where the internal management really starts to shift.
Because the incoming glucose is gone.
Exactly. So blood sugar starts to drift down a bit, and naturally, insulin levels decrease too. No new food means less need for that storage signal.
But the body, especially the brain, needs constant energy. So how does it cope?
Well, this is where the liver steps up. It's the hero of this phase.
And there's another hormone involved here, right? Not insulin, but...
Glucagon, yep. If insulin says store, glucagon basically says, okay, time to release the stores. It tells the liver, break down that glycogen you've got stashed away.
Ah, okay.
And release that glucose back into the bloodstream to keep everything running smoothly, especially keeping the brain happy. So, if you finished dinner at 7 p.m. by maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, your body's already running primarily on that stored glycogen.
Right. So the first 12 hours or so are really about burning through that easy access pantry stash.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us then to the really crucial point for the 168 plan, the metabolic switch phase. This usually starts kicking in around 12 to 16 hours.
Yep, this is the pivot point. This is where it gets interesting.
What actually happens? What defines this switch?
Well, basically, the liver's glycogen pantry is running low. It just can't keep up with demand anymore. So the body has to adapt. It says, right, need a different fuel source. And it shifts its focus to breaking down stored body fat from your adipose tissue into something called free fatty acids. That release of fatty acids is the switch.
And that's key for fat loss, obviously getting the fat out of storage.
Yeah.
But wait, you said the brain needs glucose? And if glycogen is gone, can the brain use these fatty acids directly?
Ah, good question. No, not really. The brain can't use those free fatty acids effectively, but the body has this amazing workaround. Ketones.
Okay, ketones. I've heard a lot about those.
So the liver takes some of those free fatty acids that have been released and converts them into these molecules called ketone bodies, or just ketones.
And these the brain can use.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're water-soluble, they cross the blood-brain barrier easily, and they become a really efficient alternative fuel for the brain and other organs too.
So it's like, if glucose is your regular gasoline, ketones are more like a high-efficiency backup fuel. The body just switches over when the main tank runs low.
That's a great analogy, yeah. And the body's incredibly adaptive. It doesn't panic. It just shifts to this other, often cleaner burning fuel source.
Cleaner burning.
Well, metabolically speaking, yeah. And research suggests the brain actually does very well on ketones, sometimes even prefers them once adapted. This is probably why many people report feeling, mentally clear or focused after they get used to fasting.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not just about fuel, though, is it? Once you're past that switch, other things start happening. This cellular cleanup idea, autophagy.
Right, autophagy. This usually ramps up more significantly after, say, 24 hours, but it definitely begins as the metabolic switch is engaged and insulin stays low.
So why does not eating trigger this self-eating process?
It's fundamentally an evolutionary survival mechanism. When nutrients are scarce, the cell flips from a grow and divide mode into a conserve and repair mode. It stops prioritizing building new stuff and starts, cleaning house.
Cleaning house, how? What's it actually getting rid of?
It targets old, damaged, or just unnecessary parts inside the cell. Things like misfolded proteins that can gum up the works, and really importantly, damaged mitochondria.
The powerhouses of the cell.
Exactly. If your mitochondria are inefficient or broken, your cell's energy production is compromised. Autophagy clears out the clunkers, recycles the usable bits, and makes way for healthier components later on.
Wow, so it's like a deep clean and tune-up for your cells, triggered by simply giving your system a break from constant feeding. That really explains that anti-aging or cellular repair benefit you hear about.
It really does, and this cleanup process goes hand in hand with some pretty significant hormonal shifts. We already talked about lower insulin, but fasting also improves insulin sensitivity.
Meaning your cells listen better to insulin when it is around.
Precisely. They become more responsive, so you need less insulin to do the same job. That's huge for metabolic health. We also often see an increase in growth hormone,
which helps preserve muscle while you're burning fat.
Exactly. And there's often a decrease in markers of inflammation, too. Plus, there are specific brain benefits. You mentioned BDNF earlier.
Right. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Sounds technical. Why should we care about that?
Oh, you should definitely care. BDNF is sometimes called miracle grow for the brain. It's a protein that helps existing neurons survive, and it actually encourages the growth of new neurons and connections, neuroplasticity.
So it helps with learning and memory.
Absolutely. And things like exercise and, yes, fasting, these beneficial metabolic stressors seem to stimulate BDNF production.
That's incredible. So a 16-hour fast isn't just burning fat and cleaning up cell parts. It might actually be making your brain work better, be more resilient.
That seems to be what the science suggests, yes. It's this adaptive response leading to a cleaner, more efficient system overall, metabolically and cognitively.
Okay, so let's bring this all back to the practical plan. For someone doing 168, say, stopping eating at 7 p.m. and starting again at 11 a.m. the next day, what does this timeline mean for them?
Well, it means in that 16-hour window, you're definitely pushing past that early phase. You're spending a good few hours well into the metabolic switch zone.
So glycogen is low, fat burning is ramping up, ketones are being produced.
Yes, you're reliably triggering that shift. Now, it's worth acknowledging, especially in the first few days or weeks, you might feel, a bit hungry or maybe slightly tired around hour 14 or 15.
The body complaining a bit.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's just that transition from the easy glucose energy to tapping into fat reserves. But as your body adapts, that feeling usually fades, and many people find their energy becomes much more stable, likely thanks to those ketones fueling the brain.
And thinking about the specific goals you mentioned, weight management and potentially PCOS symptoms, how does that improved insulin sensitivity play a role?
That's a really key connection. Insulin resistance is often a central issue in PCOS. The cells just don't respond well to insulin, leading the body to produce even more, which can throw other hormones off balance. By using that 16-hour fasting window regularly, you're giving your insulin system a break. It allows the cells time to sort of reset and become more sensitive again. Better insulin sensitivity helps regulate blood sugar, can aid weight management, and may improve some PCOS-related hormonal imbalances.
So it's not just cutting calories, it's actively improving how the body's signaling systems work. That makes a lot of sense. But there's always a but, isn't there? The sources really stress the importance of what you eat in the 8-hour window.
Oh, absolutely critical. This isn't a free pass to eat poorly for 8 hours. To really get the benefits of that metabolic switch and support the repair processes, that eating window needs to be filled with nutrient-dense foods.
What should be the focus then during that, say, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. period.
Definitely prioritize adequate protein. That's crucial for maintaining muscle mass, especially with growth hormone helping out. And healthy fats are important too. Things like avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, fatty fish. They support cell structure and keep your body sort of fat adapted.
And hydrate?
It's non-negotiable. Drink plenty of water, herbal tea. Black coffee is usually fine too throughout the fasting and eating periods. Especially when mobilizing fats, staying hydrated is key.
Okay. And just to reassure people, the sources seem to agree that this 168 approach is generally seen as moderate and pretty safe for most healthy adults, right? They mentioned 12-12 is likely safe, and 168 is just extending that a bit.
Yes. For most healthy adults, 168 is considered a sustainable and generally safe pattern. But, and this is important, it's not for everyone.
Right, the cautions.
While it can be really beneficial, especially perhaps for insulin sensitivity issues like in PCOS, it's not a magic bullet. Your overall lifestyle stress, sleep, exercise, and importantly, the quality of your diet all play huge roles. And certain people absolutely need to be cautious or avoid it altogether. Anyone with type 1 diabetes, pregnant or breastfeeding women, individuals who are underweight or have a history of eating disorders. Also, people on certain medications, particularly insulin or other blood sugar lowering drugs, really need to talk to the doctor first.
Okay, very important caveats. So let's sort of wrap this up. We've traced the journey from eating to burning through the quick access glycogen stores, hitting that crucial metabolic switch around 12-16 hours where fat becomes the main fuel, ketones are produced for the brain, and these deeper cellular cleanup processes like autophagy start to get going.
Yeah, and what's really amazing when you step back is that this isn't some new diet hack we invented. It's tapping into a fundamental, ancient evolutionary program. We're just giving the body the signal to pause the growth signals and activate its maintenance and efficient fuel use protocols. It's like a built-in systems check.
So that term, metabolic switch, it's not just jargon. It really is the core mechanism that explains why fat burning increases, why cells get cleaned up, and even potentially why focus might improve. It's the key domino falling.
Exactly. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Knowing how and when your body makes this powerful shift is great, but fasting itself isn't the whole story. It works best in context. So the real question becomes, now that you understand this process, what specific, high-quality, nutrient-packed choices will you make during your 8-hour eating window to really amplify and support the benefits of that metabolic switch? Because that's where the long-term success really lies.
Now you know, fasting isn't just about skipping meals or losing weight. It's a powerful process where your body repairs itself, boosts your energy, and even fights off disease. But here's the key. Fasting helps only when it's done right and safely. So if you care about your health, your focus, and your longevity, treat fasting like the powerful tool it is. Thanks for watching this videocast. Before you go, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more science made simple.